We're going to use beaver, and we're going to use ribbing and no lead, and we're going to use a scud hook, 2487 Tiemco. I love this hook. It's a real secure hook when you got a fish on. It's stout and it's shaped right. It's just a wonderful hook, man. I really like Tiemco 2487s. Now there's a 2457 is a heavier hook, but for tying emergers, you don't need that heavy hook. It was pretty basic beginning to the fly. We're just going to go right down and do the shuck. And the shuck, oh, I gotta get one more item here. I like to take on these Tiemco hooks with emergers, I like to take it pretty far down the hook bend. And I've got to get my shuck. This is the, you can use Zeelan if you want, just spooled Zeelan. This is sparkle yarn.
Yeah, I know.
And you want the shuck to approximate the color of the nymph. In the PMDs, it's kind of a darkish olive. In these flies, it's more of a browny color. So we're just going to take a little piece of the sparkle yarn, and this is way too thick, so we're going to separate this into its strands.
You're going to make a tail out of it?
This is going to be a tail or a shuck, which is the remnant of the nymph. And this is 1 out of 3 strands of the sparkle yarn. This is still too much. We've got to distill this down a little bit. We're just going to apply it to the hook. Tighten it up a little bit, like so, and then you just cover up the butt end. There we go. Now for the shuck, it's again, like I said, on the tail of the nymph. It's relatively short, so we're just going to do that. So we got the shuck tied. Again, there's always that segmented look to the body, and we accomplish that with this fine gold ribbing.
You got that.
Yep. Yeah. Tim's got all this stuff. Tim has got my favorite shop. Okay, that's going to be for ribbing. Now we're going to use the same old beaver for the abdomen. Again, this is fairly simple tie.
Are these flies in your books, Ross?
This one isn't in the book. Okay, we're just going to wind this abdomen. We're just taking this all the way up to just leave enough space up front so we can put the wing in cases. And then we'll wind the ribbing.
Yeah.
Secure the ribbing. Now we're going to go ahead and put the wings on. And the wings in these emergers, this represents the nymph case, and this represents the bug that's crawling out of that case. And of course, these emergers, their wings are just little vestiges of what they're going to be. Their wings have to become large, and so what we have here is very small, but the wings are dark gray. The point of it is that the wings of these blue wing olives are actually, they're this color. They're this dark slate color. Okay, so we got, this is just muskrat, and I got too much here, so I'm going to subtract a little bit. This is going to be Now the only part of this tie that has any complexity to us is this wing. And you can make this a lot easier, and I can show you how to do that. But at any rate, I've snipped this square off. I'm holding it over the eye of the hook. I'm taking one loose turn, and of course now the eye of the hook is totally occluded, so you just retreat back with your thumb and forefinger and you just pull that back so it clears the eye. Okay, I'm clear of the eye. Now this muskrat is very compressible and it really holds well. So this is going to be the wing. Wow, I got enough there. Okay, the next thing we do is put a little more of this dubbing on because we gotta park the wing and make a little bit of wing on each side. So we're just going to double a little bit of this beaver on. As I said, this beaver you can really get tight and fine, which is exactly what I'm wanting here. Slide it up, and then what I'm going to do is take a turn, and I'm going right back here, and I'm going to split this in half. The scissors, spread the scissors, so I now have a split wing, and I'm going to bring that up through here on one side, and around, and I'm going to go through the other side. And we're pretty much done with this fly. We got a nice open hook eye. I got too much wing here, but you saw what I did. Now, these wings are really short in these bugs. The wings are just little butt. I guess you could call them wing butts. So what you do is you just grab the whole thing and you pull it back a little bit toward the tail and you just snip it, just like that. And then you've got a divided wing. Again, a little heavy on the wing material there. I would normally not. And what this fly is supposed to do is it's got a little heavier hook than the dry fly hook we use, it's got a little heavier hook than the dry fly hook that we're going to be using. And it's got some ribbing on it. And so this should get through the surface film and be just under the film. And I'm using 5 and 6X with these. And this is a fly you want to use on these most difficult trout where you get the head and tail rise. And you see this a lot out west. I see it a few times every year in the Midwest. And what these guys are eating is they're eating emergers just under the surface, and that would be your fly right there.